When it comes to desire, many people expect grand gestures or explicit words, but true attraction often lives in silence. Women, especially, have been conditioned by society to express their wants indirectly, so their signals are often subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye. A lingering glance across the room can be filled with meaning, yet dismissed by someone who doesn't know what to look for. The softness in her tone, the slight shift in her body language, or the way she holds your gaze for just a heartbeat longer than usual, these are the silent languages of desire. They are not coincidences, but rather intentional expressions, even if unconscious. To understand a woman's desire, you must move beyond listening with your ears and start listening with your entire being. These signals are like whispers in a noisy world, easy to miss if you are distracted or focused only on what's spoken. They reveal truths that words often hide, truths wrapped in vulnerability and emotion. When you begin to notice these subtleties, a whole new dimension of connection opens up before you. Imagine two people sitting across from each other in a crowded cafe. Their words are casual, perhaps about work or weekend plans, yet something deeper hums beneath the surface. She leans slightly forward, her knees pointing toward him, her fingers lightly tracing the edge of her cup as she listens intently. There's a softness in her smile, a warmth in her eyes that isn't just friendliness. He, however, might not see it, his attention caught by his own thoughts or assumptions. This is where many connections are lost, not because the woman didn't express her desire, but because the man didn't recognize the language she was speaking. In every interaction, there is a layer of communication happening beneath the words, and women often excel at expressing themselves in this quiet, powerful way. To truly connect, you must slow down, become present, and observe not only what she says, but how she says it. This attentiveness is the key to unlocking the unspoken dialogue between two souls. Desire in women is often woven into expressions that flicker across the face for only a moment. The slight arch of an eyebrow, a fleeting look of excitement or nervousness, or even a quick glance toward your lips before she looks away. These tiny gestures are loaded with meaning. Most people overlook them because they are focused on formulating their next response rather than truly observing. But when you tune in, you begin to notice that her body has its own language, a language that often tells the truth more honestly than her words ever could. For instance, she may verbally express indifference while her body leans toward you, revealing a deeper level of interest. This paradox between speech and body language is common, especially in cultures where women are taught to be polite, reserved, or to hide their desires. The key is not to overanalyze every move, but to notice patterns that repeat over time. A single glance might mean nothing, but a consistent series of small, intentional behaviors begins to paint a clear picture of her feelings. The voice is another powerful tool through which women express unspoken desire. When she speaks to someone she's drawn to, her tone often softens, becoming warmer and more melodic without her even realizing it. There might be subtle inflections of excitement when she says your name, or a delicate slowing of her speech when she wants to savor the moment. This shift in vocal energy is deeply primal, a reflection of her inner emotional state. Listening carefully to these changes requires sensitivity and focus. In a world filled with noise and distraction, most people only hear the words, missing the deeper music beneath them. But once you begin to notice these tonal shifts, you gain access to a realm of unspoken truths. It's not about manipulation or reading into every syllable, but about being deeply attuned to the person in front of you. Her voice, like her body, often speaks before her mind gives permission to do so, revealing the spark of attraction in the quietest ways. Physical gestures, no matter how small, often reveal the deepest truths about a woman's desire. When she's near someone she's attracted to, her body naturally gravitates toward them, almost as if pulled by an invisible thread. She may angle her torso in your direction, lightly touch her hair, or make small adjustments to her appearance when you're around. These actions may seem insignificant, but they are rooted in biology and psychology. They signal that she wants to be seen by you, to be perceived as desirable. This doesn't mean every movement is calculated. In fact, most of these gestures happen unconsciously. For example, a woman might tuck a strand of hair behind her ear while talking to you, a subtle act of self-presentation that hints at vulnerability and openness. These small signals, when observed with care, tell a story far richer than words alone ever could. The challenge lies in slowing down enough to see them, especially in a world that rewards speed and distraction. Understanding this silent language requires empathy and emotional intelligence. It's not about decoding women like puzzles or using this knowledge to gain power over them. Instead, it's about honoring the complexity of human connection. When you become more attuned to unspoken signals, you begin to see people as they truly are, not just as they present themselves verbally. This creates space for genuine intimacy, where both people feel seen and understood. Women often yearn for this kind of understanding, especially in a society where their desires are frequently misunderstood or dismissed. By noticing her subtle expressions of attraction, you're not only deepening your connection, but also validating her unspoken truth. This act of recognition is profoundly healing and can form the foundation of a meaningful relationship built on mutual respect and awareness. There's also an element of courage required in perceiving unspoken desire. Once you see these signals, you can no longer hide behind ignorance or denial. You are faced with a choice: to respond with integrity or to retreat into fear. Many people miss opportunities for connection because they are afraid to acknowledge what they truly see and feel. They second-guess themselves, wondering if they're imagining things, and in doing so, they silence the very signals that could have led to deeper intimacy. Women sense this hesitation and may pull back, reinforcing the cycle of misunderstanding. This is why clarity of mind and heart is essential. When you are grounded in yourself, you can approach these moments with confidence, creating a safe space for both you and her to express what lies beneath the surface. Finally, recognizing unspoken desire is about cultivating presence. In a distracted world, presence is a rare gift. When you give someone your full attention, you create a container where unspoken truths can safely emerge. This presence is felt not only through your words, but through your energy and body language. It's the difference between merely hearing and truly listening, between looking and truly seeing. Women are deeply sensitive to presence, often responding to it with increased openness and vulnerability. When she senses that you are genuinely attuned to her, her subtle signals become clearer, her desire more visible. It's a dance of awareness, one that requires patience and deep respect for the mystery of human connection. In this dance, silence is not empty. It's filled with meaning, waiting for those who have the eyes to see and the heart to understand. You said expand Keynote 2 in 900 words, don't include headings, and don't include ending statements, but each paragraph should be in 10 lines, ChatGPT said. Desire is rarely loud. It does not always announce itself with bold declarations or obvious words. More often, it shows up in the quiet pull of proximity, in the way a woman gravitates toward the person she feels drawn to. When a woman desires someone, her body naturally seeks closeness, even if her mind is still catching up to those feelings. She might choose a seat beside you when there are plenty of others available, or lean in just slightly when you speak, closing the invisible distance between you. These actions may seem small and insignificant, but they are deeply rooted in human biology and psychology. Physical closeness signals comfort, interest, and connection, even when no words are exchanged. Our ancestors relied on closeness for survival, and that instinct still lives within us today. A woman's desire often reveals itself in this primal way, through her urge to be near you, to share the same space, to feel your energy. This nearness is not random. It is one of the first and most reliable signs of attraction, if you know how to see it. Imagine a social gathering where a woman subtly moves closer to someone without even realizing it herself. In a crowded room, she chooses to stand beside him, her shoulder brushing his ever so slightly as they talk. While her words may be casual and light, her body language tells a different story. She's unconsciously seeking connection through physical proximity, letting her actions speak the words she may not be ready to say out loud. Sometimes she may circle around the group, only to return to his side again and again, as though an invisible magnet keeps drawing her back. This pattern is rarely accidental. It's the unspoken language of desire manifesting through movement. When a woman continuously finds ways to be physically near someone, it reveals a longing to bridge not just the gap between their bodies, but also the emotional distance between their hearts. It's a powerful yet often overlooked form of silent communication. The desire for closeness can also be seen in the way a woman orients her body during interactions. When she feels drawn to someone, her torso, feet, and even her gaze often point in their direction. This alignment is subtle yet deeply telling, a nonverbal sign that she is fully engaged and connected to the person in front of her. Conversely, when there is a lack of desire or interest, her body will naturally angle away, creating a physical barrier between herself and the other person. This kind of body orientation is an ancient survival instinct rooted in our nervous system. When we feel safe, curious, or attracted, our bodies instinctively open up toward the source of those feelings. So, when a woman's body seems to lean toward you even in a crowded space, it's a sign her desire is present, though unspoken. These shifts may be almost imperceptible, but when noticed, they provide profound insight into her inner emotional landscape. Touch is another powerful expression of desire that often emerges through proximity. A woman who desires someone may initiate light, seemingly casual touches that hold deeper meaning. A brush of her hand against yours, a playful nudge on the arm, or a gentle touch on your shoulder while laughing. These are not random gestures. They are subtle ways of testing boundaries, of communicating closeness without words. Even when the touches are brief, they leave an imprint, creating a sense of connection that lingers long after. Physical touch is a universal human need, and when paired with desire, it becomes a deeply intimate form of expression. Women often use these fleeting moments of contact to signal both attraction and trust, inviting the other person into a shared space of vulnerability. It's not about grand romantic gestures, but about the quiet, almost invisible ways the body reaches out when the heart is engaged. In many cases, a woman's choice to be physically close is not purely conscious. She may find herself instinctively drawn to stand near someone she feels connected to, even if she's not yet ready to fully acknowledge her feelings. This unconscious behavior is a reflection of the deep connection between mind and body. Our emotions often guide our movements before our rational thoughts catch up. For example, she may enter a room and immediately scan for you, choosing to settle near your presence without even realizing why. This instinctive behavior speaks volumes about her desire and the sense of safety she associates with you. It's a silent confession, spoken not through words but through action. By noticing these patterns, you begin to see the truth of her feelings even before she voices them aloud. Proximity then becomes a map of desire, charting the spaces where her heart feels most at home. Proximity also plays a role in how conversations unfold. When a woman desires someone, she will often close the physical gap during dialogue, leaning in slightly as though trying to absorb every word. This closeness creates an intimate bubble, even in public settings, where the rest of the world fades away. It's a way of saying, "You have my full attention. I want to be here with you in this moment." This dynamic can be especially noticeable in group conversations, where she subtly positions herself closer to you than to others, signaling where her focus truly lies. These actions are not merely about hearing better, they are about feeling more connected. By leaning in, she's communicating that she values the exchange and the person with whom she's sharing it. This closeness builds a sense of intimacy that often precedes deeper expressions of desire. The human brain is wired to respond to proximity, making it a deeply effective form of silent communication. When someone is physically near us, our bodies release oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. This chemical reaction deepens feelings of connection and trust, creating a feedback loop of desire. Women may not consciously think about this process, but their bodies naturally seek it out. By choosing to be near someone, a woman is not just expressing her current feelings, she's also fostering the growth of those feelings over time. This is why shared physical space matters so much in relationships. It's in the quiet moments of sitting side by side, walking closely together, or simply existing in the same room that desire deepens and takes root. These seemingly ordinary acts of closeness hold extraordinary emotional power. In today's fast-paced world, where digital interactions often replace face-to-face connection, physical proximity carries even greater significance. A woman who goes out of her way to spend time near you, to share physical space, is expressing something profound. She is prioritizing presence over convenience, choosing to engage in the tangible world of touch, gaze, and shared energy. This choice reflects not only desire but also intention. It shows that she values the connection enough to make it real, to bring it into the realm of the physical, rather than keeping it confined to words or screens. Proximity, then, becomes a declaration not of possession, but of preference. It's her way of saying, without uttering a single word, "You matter to me. I want to be close to you." To recognize these subtle expressions of desire, one must cultivate awareness and sensitivity. It's not about overanalyzing every move or assuming that every act of closeness carries romantic meaning. Instead, it's about noticing patterns, observing how proximity is offered consistently over time. A single moment of closeness may mean nothing, but repeated, intentional acts of nearness reveal a deeper truth. When a woman consistently chooses to be near you, even when she has other options, she is revealing her feelings in the most human, primal way. It's a form of desire that transcends words, rooted in the language of the body and the heart. By attuning yourself to this language, you open the door to a level of connection that is both profound and transformative, built not on what is said, but on the quiet power of presence. When a woman feels desire for someone, it often begins not with physical touch or even body language, but with an invitation into her emotional world. Desire is not always about outward expressions of attraction. Sometimes it manifests as a deep yearning to be seen and understood. When she starts to open up about her private thoughts, dreams, or fears, she is extending a form of trust that goes far beyond casual conversation. This act of sharing is her way of silently saying, "I want you to know me, not just the version of me that the world sees, but the real, vulnerable me." Women are often careful about who they allow into these sacred spaces of their inner life, because vulnerability carries risk. By letting you in, she is revealing that her desire runs deeper than surface-level interest. She wants connection that is authentic and safe, and her openness is a powerful sign of her longing for intimacy. These emotional invitations are subtle but profound, forming a bridge between two hearts before physical closeness even begins. Consider the way conversations evolve when a woman begins to feel emotionally connected to someone she desires. At first, she may keep things light, sticking to safe topics like work, hobbies, or current events. But gradually, as trust builds, she begins to reveal layers of herself that few others see. She might talk about childhood memories, personal struggles, or the dreams she secretly holds for her future. These disclosures are not random. They are carefully chosen signals of closeness and longing. When she shares these pieces of herself, she is testing whether you are someone who can handle her truth without judgment or rejection. This is where many relationships either deepen or fade. If you respond with empathy and genuine interest, her desire grows stronger because she feels emotionally safe. If you dismiss or minimize her feelings, the invitation is quietly withdrawn, leaving an invisible barrier between you. Emotional intimacy is fragile, and recognizing its value is key to truly understanding a woman's desire. The way she listens to you is also part of this emotional invitation. A woman who desires you will not only share her own world, but will also make space to enter yours. She pays attention to your words, remembers small details you mention, and responds with a depth of care that goes beyond politeness. Her engagement in conversation is not passive, it is an active expression of connection. Through her attentive listening, she is silently saying, "I value you, your inner world matters to me." This reciprocity creates a cycle of trust and openness where both people feel seen and understood. It's through this shared vulnerability that desire deepens, moving beyond superficial attraction to something more profound. In these moments, words become more than communication, they become threads weaving two lives closer together. Her emotional investment is a sign that her feelings are real and growing, even if she hasn't yet voiced them directly. Sometimes her emotional invitation comes in the form of seeking your perspective or guidance. When a woman shares a personal dilemma or asks for your thoughts on something deeply meaningful to her, it shows that she values your insight and trusts your judgment. This is not just about solving a problem. It's about allowing you into the most private corners of her life. By inviting you to participate in her decision-making or to witness her vulnerabilities, she is signaling a desire for closeness. This level of sharing is intimate because it requires courage. She risks being misunderstood or rejected, but her willingness to take that risk reflects the depth of her feelings. It is her way of testing whether you are a safe harbor for her emotional storms. When you respond with compassion and understanding, you affirm her choice to open up, strengthening the bond between you and reinforcing the silent message of her desire. Women often express this emotional openness through storytelling. When she tells you about experiences that shaped her, whether joyful or painful, she is offering you a roadmap to her heart. These stories are windows into her values, fears, and aspirations. They reveal not just what has happened to her, but who she truly is beneath the surface. For many women, sharing these stories is an act of deep trust, especially if they involve past hurts or moments of vulnerability. By letting you witness these parts of her history, she is showing that she wants you to understand her on a soul, deep level. Desire, in this context, is not just about physical attraction, it's about longing for someone who can see and accept her whole self. This kind of sharing creates a powerful emotional intimacy that lays the foundation for lasting connection. When you listen with presence and empathy, you become part of the story she is still writing. The emotional invitation can also appear through subtle shifts in her behavior toward you. She might begin to prioritize your presence, seeking out moments to connect even in small ways. Perhaps she checks in on you after a difficult day, sends a thoughtful message at just the right time, or remembers things you've said that others might forget. These gestures, though simple, carry profound meaning. They demonstrate that she is holding space for you in her inner world, weaving you into the fabric of her daily life. This consistent care is a form of emotional closeness that speaks louder than words. It shows that her desire is not fleeting or superficial, but rooted in a genuine connection to who you are. Through these actions, she is silently inviting you to meet her at the same depth, to build something meaningful together. One of the most powerful aspects of a woman's emotional invitation is her willingness to show her imperfections. In the early stages of attraction, many people try to present their best selves, carefully curating what they reveal. But when a woman begins to feel deeply for someone, she may allow her guard to drop, exposing the parts of herself she usually hides. She might share her insecurities, her mistakes, or her fears, trusting that you will not use them against her. This level of vulnerability is one of the clearest indicators of desire because it reflects a yearning for true intimacy. She is not just inviting you into her world, she is offering you a role within it, one that requires mutual trust and care. Responding to this vulnerability with kindness and respect is essential to nurturing the connection she is courageously creating. In some cases, her emotional invitation may come with moments of hesitation or retreat. Desire is rarely a straight line. It often involves a dance between openness and self-protection. She may reveal something deeply personal one day and then pull back the next, testing whether it is truly safe to keep going. This push and pull is not a sign of confusion, but of the deep emotional stakes involved. When someone matters to us, the fear of loss or rejection can feel overwhelming. By understanding this dynamic, you can approach her with patience and empathy rather than frustration. Recognizing that her retreat is part of the process allows you to stay grounded and supportive, encouraging her to continue opening up at her own pace. This steady presence reinforces the message that you are a trustworthy partner in the unfolding journey of connection. Ultimately, a woman's emotional invitation is one of the most profound ways she expresses desire. It goes beyond fleeting attraction, reaching into the core of what it means to connect with another human being. When she begins to let you see her authentic self, she is expressing a desire not just for companionship, but for true intimacy. This kind of openness requires mutual courage and awareness. It asks both people to step into a space where vulnerability is honored and where silence can speak as powerfully as words. By recognizing and responding to her emotional invitations, you create a foundation of trust and closeness that allows desire to grow into something deep, lasting, and transformative. Playfulness is one of the most underestimated and yet deeply profound ways a woman shows her desire. When a woman feels drawn to someone, her natural energy shifts toward lightheartedness and fun, creating a safe and inviting atmosphere for connection. She may begin to tease you gently, make witty remarks, or playfully challenge you in conversation. This behavior is not just about humor. It is her way of testing the waters while protecting her vulnerability. Women are often conditioned to guard their feelings, so playfulness becomes a shield that allows her to express desire without explicitly declaring it. Through laughter and joking, she creates a shared space of intimacy that feels safe and non-threatening. Her playful energy invites you to engage with her in a deeper way, offering glimpses of her affection and interest while maintaining an air of mystery. This is why teasing often precedes confession. It is the language of desire wrapped in laughter. To recognize this sign, you must pay attention not just to her words, but to the emotional current beneath them. Consider the way a woman interacts when she feels comfortable and attracted to someone. She might give you a sarcastic nickname, challenge your opinions with a mischievous smile, or poke fun at something you said in a way that feels affectionate rather than hurtful. This kind of teasing is markedly different from criticism because it carries warmth and connection. It is her way of saying, "I feel close enough to you to play with you." In many ways, playfulness mirrors the behavior of children who express attachment through shared fun and games. In adulthood, this dynamic transforms into flirtation, where laughter becomes a bridge between desire and fear. By joking with you, she signals that she enjoys your presence and feels safe exploring a deeper connection. The banter becomes a dance of words and emotions, subtly hinting at her feelings without putting her heart completely on display. Laughter itself is one of the clearest indicators of romantic interest. When a woman laughs freely and often in your presence, it is a sign that she feels emotionally open and connected. Even more telling is when her laughter comes easily, not just at objectively funny moments, but at the little things you say or do. This kind of laughter is not about comedy, it is about chemistry. It reflects a shared energy that flows effortlessly between two people. Studies have shown that humor activates the brain's pleasure centers, releasing endorphins that create a sense of bonding and trust. When a woman engages in playful humor with you, she is not only expressing her desire, but also deepening it. Every shared laugh becomes a thread weaving the two of you closer together, turning ordinary moments into memories filled with joy and intimacy. Playfulness also allows a woman to test compatibility without direct confrontation. By teasing or joking, she can observe how you respond to her energy and whether you can match her rhythm. If you laugh with her, engage in the banter, and respect her boundaries, she feels reassured that you understand her emotional language. But if you respond with defensiveness or insensitivity, it signals a lack of alignment. In this way, playfulness becomes both a form of flirting and a subtle screening process. A woman who desires you will often initiate this dynamic to see if you can create a safe space for mutual vulnerability. This is why humor is so important in relationships. It is not just entertainment, but a vital tool for emotional exploration. Through playful interactions, she is silently asking, "Can I be myself with you? Can we build a connection that feels alive and joyful?" Physical playfulness is another layer of this expression. A woman who feels attracted might engage in light, playful touches that seem spontaneous and fun. She may nudge you with her shoulder, playfully swat your arm, or initiate a mock competition that involves brief, casual contact. These gestures are deeply primal, rooted in the body's natural response to desire. They allow her to express closeness while maintaining plausible deniability, keeping her feelings protected until she feels fully secure. Physical playfulness is also a way to gauge your comfort level and interest. If you respond positively, the connection strengthens. If you pull away, she knows to retreat and protect her heart. These small touches, combined with laughter, create a sensory experience that binds two people together in ways words alone cannot achieve. In many cases, playfulness acts as a release valve for the tension that comes with romantic desire. Attraction often creates a mix of excitement and anxiety, especially when feelings are strong. By introducing humor into the interaction, a woman can diffuse this tension, making the connection feel lighter and more manageable. This is particularly important in the early stages of a relationship where uncertainty and vulnerability are at their peak. A playful comment or shared laugh can transform a potentially awkward moment into one of connection and ease. It signals her willingness to navigate the complexity of desire with grace and courage. This dynamic not only makes the experience enjoyable, but also builds a foundation of trust that supports deeper intimacy later on. Cultural and personal factors also influence how playfulness is expressed. Some women may use overt humor and bold teasing, while others might favor subtle wit and quiet laughter. The key is to pay attention to the patterns and consistency of her behavior. A single joke or laugh may not mean much, but a sustained pattern of playful interaction often signals deeper feelings. It's also important to consider context. Playfulness directed specifically toward you, especially when it differs from how she interacts with others, carries significant meaning. This distinction reveals that her behavior is not just part of her general personality, but a targeted expression of her attraction to you. Playfulness has a unique power to create shared experiences that deepen emotional bonds. When you and a woman engage in playful interactions, you are not just exchanging jokes. You are building a private world that only the two of you share. Inside jokes, shared laughter, and playful challenges become the foundation of a relationship that feels special and exclusive. This sense of us against the world fosters intimacy and strengthens desire. It transforms ordinary moments into treasured memories, giving both people something to return to during difficult times. Over time, these shared experiences become a language of their own, one that communicates love and connection more deeply than words ever could. The protective nature of playfulness is also worth understanding. For many women, teasing is a way to express desire while maintaining emotional safety. By keeping the interaction lighthearted, she minimizes the risk of rejection or judgment. If her feelings are not reciprocated, she can retreat behind the guise of humor, preserving her dignity and heart. This is why it's essential to respond to her playfulness with sensitivity and respect. Pushing too hard or misreading her signals can break the trust she is trying to build. When handled with care, however, playful interactions can evolve into moments of profound vulnerability and connection, paving the way for a deeper, more authentic relationship. Ultimately, playfulness is a bridge between desire and intimacy. It allows a woman to express her feelings without overwhelming herself or the other person. Through teasing, laughter, and shared fun, she creates a safe environment where both people can explore their connection freely. This dynamic is not about triviality or avoidance. It is about courage disguised as humor. Behind every playful remark lies a heart testing the waters of love, longing to be understood without fear. When you recognize and honor this form of communication, you gain access to the tender, unspoken truth of her desire, a truth that reveals itself not through declarations, but through the beautiful, joyous dance of play. Desire, for many women, is not a straightforward path, but a complex and often conflicting experience. When a woman feels deep attraction, it stirs excitement and vulnerability all at once. Society has long taught women to suppress or hide their desires, labeling them as inappropriate or dangerous if expressed too openly. This creates an internal struggle where she longs to move closer, but fears the consequences of being fully seen. On one hand, her heart races with the thrill of connection, while on the other, her mind hesitates, guarding her from potential rejection or judgment. This silent battle plays out in subtle ways, such as mixed signals or sudden changes in behavior. One moment, she might be warm and open, and the next distant and guarded. To the untrained eye, this seems confusing, but in truth, it reveals the depth of her feelings. The more she desires, the higher the stakes, and the greater the tension between wanting and protecting herself. When a woman sends mixed signals, it is rarely because she is manipulative or indecisive. More often, it is because her desire feels overwhelming and her fear rises to meet it. She may lean in emotionally and physically, only to pull back when she realizes how much she's revealed. This push and pull is a natural defense mechanism, a way to test the waters while preserving her heart. Her hesitation does not mean her feelings are weak. In fact, it often signals that they are incredibly strong. The closer she feels to you, the greater her need to ensure her safety. She might cancel plans at the last minute, seem aloof after moments of intense closeness, or retreat into silence after sharing something deeply personal. These behaviors are not signs of disinterest, but reflections of the internal conflict raging within her. Understanding this dynamic requires patience and empathy, recognizing that her desire and fear are intertwined threads in the same tapestry. The fear underlying this internal battle, often stems from past experiences. A woman who has been hurt, betrayed, or dismissed in previous relationships carries those memories with her into new connections. Even as she feels desire, her body and mind remember the pain of vulnerability. This creates a protective barrier that can make her seem guarded or distant. When she hesitates, it is not necessarily about you, but about the ghosts of her past. Each step toward intimacy feels risky because it requires her to trust again, to believe that this time will be different. Her silence, her pauses, and even her withdrawal are ways of asking, "Can I really be safe with you?" This question is rarely spoken aloud, but it echoes beneath every interaction. The more she desires someone, the louder that question becomes, because the possibility of loss feels greater. Recognizing this fear allows you to see her behavior not as rejection, but as a plea for reassurance. Desire is often loud inside her heart, but quiet on the outside. While she may not express her longing through words, her body and emotions betray her true feelings. A lingering look, a sudden flush of color in her cheeks, or a nervous laugh can reveal the storm she is trying to contain. These subtle signs are like cracks in the armor she has built around herself. They show that beneath her composure, there is a deep well of passion waiting to be released. However, because she is afraid of being too vulnerable, she may quickly cover these moments with distraction or humor. To the unobservant, it may seem like nothing happened, but for her, it was a moment of profound exposure. This delicate dance between revealing and hiding is the essence of her silent battle. Her body moves toward what her heart wants, while her mind pulls her back toward safety. For many women, this struggle is heightened by societal expectations. Women are often taught to be desirable, but not to express desire openly. They are encouraged to wait, to hint, to be chosen rather than to choose. This conditioning creates a paradox where expressing genuine attraction feels dangerous or shameful. Even when her feelings are strong, she may feel pressure to mask them, fearing that openness will make her appear too forward or vulnerable. This societal narrative adds another layer of complexity to her internal battle. She is not only fighting her personal fears, but also the weight of cultural messages about what it means to be a woman in love. This is why her signals may seem so subtle or contradictory. They are shaped by years of learning to communicate in ways that protect her while still reaching out for connection. This internal battle often leads to moments of silence that speak louder than words. When a woman grows quiet around someone she desires, it is not always a sign of disinterest. More often, it reflects the intensity of what she feels. Her silence may be filled with unspoken questions, hopes, and fears. In these moments, she is processing her emotions, deciding whether it is safe to let them surface. Silence becomes a shield, giving her space to navigate the overwhelming pull of her desire. It is in these quiet spaces that the most profound truths are hidden. If you listen closely, not just with your ears but with your heart, you can sense the depth of her unspoken feelings. Her stillness is not emptiness. It is a container for the powerful emotions she is not yet ready to reveal. Patience is essential in understanding a woman's silent battle between desire and fear. When you react with frustration or pressure, you reinforce her fear and push her further into retreat. But when you meet her hesitation with gentleness and steady presence, you create a safe space for her to unfold. Desire cannot flourish in an environment of urgency or control. It needs room to breathe. By offering consistent care and understanding, you help her bridge the gap between longing and safety. Over time, this nurtures trust, allowing her to express her feelings more openly. Your role is not to fix her struggle or to rush her process, but to walk beside her as she navigates it. In doing so, you become a partner in her journey rather than a threat to her vulnerability. It is also important to recognize the courage it takes for a woman to express desire openly. When she finally lowers her defenses and lets her feelings be seen, it is a profound act of bravery. This moment is the culmination of her internal battle, a victory over fear and self-doubt. Her willingness to step forward is a gift, one that should be met with gratitude and respect. When you acknowledge the risk she has taken, you validate her experience and strengthen the bond between you. This mutual recognition transforms desire from something fragile and hidden into something shared and celebrated. It becomes a foundation for deeper intimacy, built on trust and mutual vulnerability. Ultimately, a woman's silent battle between desire and fear is a testament to the complexity of human connection. It reminds us that love is rarely simple or linear. Behind every mixed signal, every moment of hesitation, there is a story of longing and protection. To truly understand her, you must look beyond the surface and see the intricate dance unfolding within her heart. Desire, when deeply felt, is never just about physical attraction. It is about the courage to reveal one's soul, to risk being seen and accepted. When you approach this dance with compassion and awareness, you not only witness her struggle, you become part of her healing. In this way, desire becomes not just a feeling, but a transformative force that bridges the gap between two hearts.